Welcome to the All Aboard with Visit Mickey podcast.
Hello, this is Trisha. Welcome back to All Aboard with Visit Mickey. I am here with Dustin today. So Dustin, who I'm sure you have heard of his Instagram page because we are all following it. And I know that we want to talk about cabanas. So I know he's teased it a little. So let's get in with Dustin. Dustin, why don't we start with tell everybody the name of your Instagram page and what they should be doing.
Yeah, hey everybody. Thank you again for having me on, Trisha. So my Instagram is Dustin on Deck for DCL, and it is the number 4. So Dustin on Deck for DCL. And I would appreciate all of the follows and support that I could get out there. I am addicted to Disney Cruise Line, so if you are interested in it, I hope you would enjoy my contents.
Yeah, so I found Dustin because of his content, and I was just like, wow, this is so good. And then we just started talking. So, back and forth with each other. And then eventually he joined the Visit Mickey team. And we are so happy to have him. And we love having like the cruise expert, the Disney Cruise Line cruise expert right in our family, our Visit Mickey family. So, all right, let's get on it now. We're talking, Lighthouse Points. Lighthouse Point Family Cabana, right? That's what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
Like what you had was the family cabana, right?
Yes, and I know they kind of just switched over to now calling them Mabrika Cove Cabanas. But yes, we were able to land a family cabana, number 15 to be exact, about 3 weeks out from our cruise that just happened at the beginning of May. So not too long ago.
3 weeks out seems pretty impossible. I know I am a platinum member with Disney Cruise Line. That's my castaway status is platinum. And I've never been able to get a cabana. So how 3 weeks out were you able to get a cabana?
Yeah, that's kind of the $1 million question, I feel. So cabanas are hard to get. Number one, because there just isn't as many compared to the amount of people on your ship, and they're pretty luxury. They're pretty nice, and hopefully, after you listen to this podcast, you'll understand exactly why everybody is dying to get a cabana for their vacation. I am also platinum Castaway Club status, and I tried to land a cabana at my opening time frame of when I was able to book activities for our sailing, and I was on at midnight. There was no cabanas available at all. So what I do is I just actually randomly, I don't want to say daily, but just randomly, I have the Disney Cruise Line app on my phone, and I will just check to see if anybody that had a cabana booked, if they magically canceled and there's one available that I could grab. And this is one of the rare times where that's exactly what happened. There was actually 2 cabanas available, and I was shocked, and I was shocked, and I just grabbed it. So that's how I was able to land this cabana.
Well, I love that. I've never continued to look for cabana. I have looked for Apollo. I will say that when I didn't get my brunch, I have looked and looked and looked for Apollo. I guess that we should say, how are they gone if you're platinum? Well, Pearl gets in before platinum does, and also Concierge gets in before platinum does. So I do think that most of the time, it's like Concierge and Pearl will soak up those cabanas. One of the benefits of going as a concierge member or concierge guest is your early access to the cabana and all the other things, all the other very popular items. The concierge get it, I think, 5 days ahead of everybody else. So great grab. I mean, such a great grab. Like 3 weeks before. Like I've never thought to look. So now there it is. I'm going to look on my next one. And have you, out of curiosity, I know this was the Lookout Key one that you got, but have you ever done the Castaway one?
I have. I have had one other cabana that was Oh my, several years ago, and it was at Castaway. It was a Serenity Bay cabana, and so that was an adult
Nice.
only one. And yeah,
Okay.
that was fun.
All right. Well, so again, so since you mentioned that, the location of the Serenity Bay cabanas, I think there's only six of them, right? On Lookout Key?
Yeah, there's not that many. I'm not sure the exact number, but yes, they are over on
Okay.
Serenity Bay for adults only.
Yeah, that's the only one that I've ever actually gotten into are the Serenity Bay Lookout Key cabanas. I did get a tour, and as part of the tour, we got to go into the cabanas, and that was the preview cruise. So on our preview cruise, we got to tour cabanas, but not family. The family ones were actually being occupied. We only got a chance to do the Serenity Bay ones.
Yeah,
So,
and I think
all
you're right. It
right.
does look like there's six of them. Looks like you're right.
Okay. And one is a big one. One is like one and a half size, and all the rest seem to be around the same size. All right. So why cabana? Dustin, why do you want a cabana? Why does anybody want a cabana when they are on a Disney ship that's stopping at Lookout Key?
That's a great question. So there are a lot of factors that would go into answering that question, and hopefully us breaking everything down for you today will help you figure out if you're part of that club, if you want a cabana or not. Because there are some people that just don't want it, don't want to pay for it, just want nothing to do with it. But the majority of people do want a private cabana.
Mhm.
There are, I think the biggest reason why I would want a cabana, why I do love the cabana, is just the privacy. I mean, you're already on at a private destination in the Bahamas. It looks like paradise, but then to have your own private spot for you and your friends, you and your family, it's just a nice way to relax. It's a luxury way to relax. It's a nice way to pamper yourself and just have your own space, honestly.
And when you went, well, what's the max for the cabana you had, the max number of people?
Yeah, so there's two different types of cabanas. For the standard cabana, it holds regularly for the main price up to six guests. You can have up to four additional guests, but you would pay extra for those additional guests.
Okay.
For the grand cabanas, for the main price, it holds 10 people, and then you can have an additional six guests for a total of 16 guests in the grand ones.
And you had the kind that is a standard that holds six, and you had six people, right?
We did. It kind of worked out perfectly. It was me and several friends, and then two of my friends is a husband and wife, and they had a little baby with them as well. So, in case anybody is wondering, no matter how old the baby is, the baby counts as one guest. Period.
Okay, that was my next question. So I do know also, if you have not priced out a Disney cruise, even an infant counts as a person in the room. So it's not like Disney World or Disneyland where under three doesn't count as a person in the room, but with Disney Cruise Line, it does. So
Yep.
that's a good to know that also for the cabana counts as a person. Okay, and you said it was a friend group, so in that way, it's kind of cool because maybe you could split the cost of the cabana.
Yes. So for a standard cabana, it is $973. That is for six people. If you split that the six ways, which is the most you can split it, it would be about $163 a person, which is what each of us paid.
Oh, okay. That's a no-brainer when you're talking about sharing it with friends. I mean, I get if a family was going and just the mom and dad were paying, okay, maybe they would feel differently, but in your scenario, that is a no-brainer.
Yeah, it really was. And then just so everybody knows, for the Grand Cabana, for 10 guests, it's $1,375. And then the additional guest is $56 a person. And that is same with the standard too. The additional guest that I was talking about, it's $56 a person. But for us, I guess I should make everybody aware, everybody in my party of 6, except for myself, this was their first Disney cruise. So I've been on many. This was, I believe, number 17 for me. However, it was my first Cabana at Lookout Key. So when I first went to my friends with this idea, when I saw this Cabana available, I grabbed it. Just, we're getting it. Like, I'm just grabbing it. If for some reason everybody vetoes it, then we can let it go.
Sure.
So when I let everybody know I got it and I went to them, about half of them were on board immediately. They're like, yes, that's great. There was a couple of others that just, that sounds great, but we're not sure about the price. The price is a lot, but it does sound cool. So pretty much everybody was on board, but I did have to sell them a little bit, I feel, on it. But just fast forward, spoiler alert, every single one of them said it was well worth what we paid for it, and they can't believe we actually didn't pay more than what we did for it.
Okay. So then I guess another magic question is, what do you get? I mean, other than the private space, what does Disney provide to people who have a cabana?
Yeah. So for each cabana, so the basics that you're going to have in it is furnished with very comfortable seating. You will have a comfortable couch. You'll have some lounge chairs. There will be a small refrigerator in there, and it will be stocked with beverages and cold towels. There will be cans of Coke, Diet Coke, Sprite, Sprite Zero. There'll be bottles of water. And with this cabana, that's unlimited. You can request more Coke, more whatever you want later on throughout the day whenever you get low. So it comes with a fully stocked refrigerator. There is a safe to keep all of your stuff in it. Just, if you go down to the beach, you just want to lock something up, able to do that. There is a ceiling fan, and Disney does list the ceiling fan on their website as this is something you get, and you do. But I just want to highlight how well the ceiling fan is. It's hot in the Bahamas, and just the air that ceiling fan kept circulating, it was fantastic. So kudos on the ceiling fan from Disney there.
Okay.
They provide you with plush towels, so you don't have to get towels and take them off the ship with you, and you don't have to take beach towels. They're all provided for you. There will be a can of SPF 50 sunscreen waiting for you. And I will point out, too, because we had an infant in our group, and Disney knew that, they had a second bottle of sunscreen specifically for babies waiting on us in the cabana.
Oh, okay. See, I love the attention to detail. Always, always, always. And there's another example. I have seen, and I'm just curious, did they have the Evian misting sprays there?
I did not see those.
Okay.
Yep.
I know that they have them in concierge, like all around the deck. So a lot of this sounds like concierge. So they have, of course, the nice towels and the nice things on the ship, and they have SPF, everything, but they also have the Evian cool misting sprays. So I just was curious.
I will say everybody enjoyed the cool towels that they had in the refrigerator. They were fantastic. Come the afternoon.
That is a nice thought. Honestly, that is a nice thought. Yes, it is very hot. So when you said that, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yep. So there's also, like I said, the luxurious lounge chairs. I think all 6 of us at one time fell asleep on the furniture somewhere. It was fantastic. In case anybody's wondering, it's very comfy. There is also a shower at the end of the deck on our cabana, so for you to just walk off, which was very nice, very handy, especially when you come back up from the beach. There was a fresh fruit basket waiting on us. It had like bananas, strawberries, grapes, oranges. It was very nice just to, pick at throughout the day. They also provide snacks. They had like Lay's potato chips and some granola bars in a basket. Yeah, just extra nice little touches. We did have a hammock down on the beach, which it was kind of tucked away, and I saw it when we first got there, but you just get immersed in paradise. And I'm really mad. I never went down and actually laid in it. So I was actually really upset at myself. about that, but there is a hammock there. And then you do have your own little deck, and then there is like a sailcloth shade to give you some shade over the deck while you're still outside of the cabana, which is really nice. So you get the breeze, but you
Okay.
don't get the sun. And then there is a little there's a little curtain in the corner for somebody just to go in the corner, close the curtain, and you can change for privacy. It's
Okay.
not big, but it's enough for one person just to go in, and I thought that was a really, really nice touch. They also provide some sand toys for kids. If you have little ones, that you can take the toys down on the beach and make sandcastles and do what you want with them. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it also includes an hour bike rental per guest,
Wow.
which I know there's been some talk, about the bike rentals, they didn't get started up right away, but just know that
No, yeah.
yeah, that is included. And then they have some tissues that they provided for you. And then honestly, just the spectacular view that you get looking out over the clear blue water, the white sand, and then you can see your ship in the distance. It's literally paradise. If
Oh, okay. Your background, is
Yeah.
that from the day that you
It
did it?
is, yeah. I took this from, if anybody's watching us on YouTube, my background is the beach that we're on, and those are the cabanas behind me. I was standing out in front of the cabana that we were in when I took this
Okay.
picture. And it's literally paradise. Like, I don't know what else to say. It's breathtaking.
Okay. All right. So when you are a regular guest of Disney Cruise Line, you don't have a cabana. I've been to Lookout Key a few times now, and you walk down the dock and you get on the tram and you go over to like the family beach. So that's like the first stop. And if you want to keep going to Serenity, you walk it. So a little bit different if you've only been to Castaway Key, where you have a tram that takes you from the family section over to the adult only section. But at Lookout Key, you just walk it. You get taken to the family beach, and then you can walk to the adult only section. But it's also where all of our food is. So all the food and all the entertainment is over at the family beach. So what does a cabana guest do?
Yeah, so that's a great, great question. So I should point out too, like Trish is talking about, over on the other side of the island, you take a tram. It's where, Serenity Bay is, the family beach, everything she just said. But for these family cabanas at Mabrika Cove that I'm referring to, when you get off the ship and you walk the pier over to the island, the cabanas are right there as soon as you get off the pier. You don't have to take a tram to them. You check in for your cabana at these family cabanas literally as soon as you touch the island. And then there's a whole line of them up and down the beach. If your cabana is further down the road, they will take you in a golf cart so you don't have to walk. But so just know that that is where these are located. As far as lunch was incredible. There are 20 cabanas here on this beach where we're talking about, and right
Hmm.
smack dab in the middle is a dining area that is exclusive only for guests staying in one of those 20 cabanas.
Okay.
So you just have to walk down, wherever you're located at in the line of cabanas, you walk to the center, and that's where you go
Okay.
for lunch. If you are, if you're on either end, you can request a golf cart and they'll come and pick you up and take you to it, but it's not a
Yeah.
long walk at all. I mean, at the most, I guess it would be you're walking 9 cabanas would be the most you're walking down to get to lunch.
Right. 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 Had you been to Lookout Key before this time?
Yes, a couple different times actually.
Okay. So is the lunch different for a cabana guest than what you've seen before?
Yeah. So the answer is yes. There are
Okay.
a lot of the same stuff that you can get on, the other side of the island, but there are a couple of little perks, little extras that you do get for lunch if you're staying in a cabana. Some of the food that was offered to us, which you can get on the other side of the island, is like potato salad, there's coleslaw, there's a tomato salad, some fruit. You can get ribs, mac and cheese, the hot dogs, french fries, cheeseburgers, the chicken, which I just love the chicken at Lookout. Like, I just love it. But Also, here at this location, you can get grilled ahi tuna steak. They have a mixed leaves salad. They have some broccoli. They have some marinated shrimp, which I did not see over on the other side of the island. They had
No.
they had like some fried rice with shrimp in it, but
Yes.
this
Yeah.
what I'm referring to is just marinated shrimp, and it was so good.
Okay.
And then they also had Alaskan snow crab, which
Huh.
was a great offering.
Oh, okay. These are absolutely not to the regular guests. So, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And
Keep
then
going.
cook to order ribeye steak. I mean, literally, they had the steaks in a
Nice.
cooler, and I said I would want one. They pulled it out of the cooler and just put it straight on the grill, and I stood there until they cooked it for me. It was so good. You can do that over at the lunch station by Serenity Bay as well,
Yes.
but that is definitely an offering here as well.
Yes. And actually, I think one of the times I was at Serenity Bay, that was a bit of a confusion because people are like, where am I allowed to go? It's like, where I know there's a place for steak. There's a place for steak.
Yeah.
And it is like trying to find the right place to go to get a steak over on a Serenity Bay section. But I mean, I know that I have never seen shrimp or snow crab or, ahi tuna. And that's never been part of it. So that's a nice thing to know. Also, I just want to say there's some guests who it's just the exclusivity of something. It doesn't have to be any other reason. I just want to have some quiet time, just us. I don't want to fight for a chair, which is not a problem at Lookout Key. Castaway, yes, it's a bit of a thing, but at Lookout, there's gobs and gobs and gobs.
Yeah.
But for those people who just say, I just want it. I'm really splurging on this trip. This is what we want to splurge on. And I think it's a good thing to bring up to people, even though maybe you have to find it the way you did, which was the luck
Sure.
of the draw, right? You found it by luck of the draw. And, there's nothing wrong with that. However you come to it is how you come to it until you're Pearl, until you're concierge. And even I mean, think about how many concierge guests they get. They can't all have it. I've helped people who have concierge, and it's the same thing. You have to email the concierge staff at midnight. So like the email has to be fully written, and the second it hits, you hit a button to send it to them, and they take it in the order they come in. So you can't start your email at midnight because you will lose. You have to have a fully written email so that all you have to do is hit the button so they have a chance to get all the things they want. So
Yeah, and I think that's a testament to how amazing these cabanas truly are and the level of customer service you're going to get, as if it's not already spectacular on a Disney cruise in general. But then Disney one-ups themselves. They level up, so to speak, when it comes to this type of service. And
mhm.
it's just a testament. Like everybody knows how well it is, everybody wants it. The one thing I did not mention when it comes to lunch is dessert. And
Okay.
dessert there for the Cabana guest, they have, I think it's the blueberry lemon bread, which is so good. And they have the chocolate chip cookies, they have some ice cream, but they also have gelato for free. So
Mm.
if anybody has cruised before, that is an extra charge to have gelato on a ship, on a Disney ship. But
Yes.
it is included when you are staying in a cabana and having lunch right there on the island. Not only is it included, it also comes with whatever toppings you want to put on top of it. I had a strawberry gelato with real strawberries, some strawberry syrup, some peanuts, and some Cool Whip on it. It was so good.
Okay.
But just another little perk of staying in a cabana.
Yeah. I mean, listen, sometimes it is those little things that add up, and you're like, oh, I got this, and it was, my favorite thing of the day. You know what I mean? And I am liking the idea of this, and I have to start looking. I don't know. August is my next my next, where I can do my requesting of things. So I am on the Disney Destiny on December 3rd. So I know you're going in November, right? The
Yeah.
inaugural?
Yep. November 20th.
November 20th. Okay. So I am doing the December 3rd Disney Destiny. So I looked over my date yesterday. I was like, okay, what do I do? All right, I'm platinum. What am I going to try for? I will say for me, my daughters, we're doing this as our Christmas present. So the Christmas
Great.
present this year is a trip to the Disney Destiny. And my daughters will all be above 18. So we're going to do a family polo.
Amazing.
They haven't been able to go. So
Oh,
it's so
great.
funny because
They'll get Palo Steakhouse. How amazing.
they'll get Palo Steakhouse. And it's so funny because I like at home when we're eating dinner, sometimes like fingers get used, on YouTube, and they'll like lick some. I'm like, oh, hollow behavior. I use it a lot. I go, come on, hollow behavior, Palo behavior. You have to start preparing to go to Palo. You don't take your finger and squeegee your plate and lick your finger at Palo.
That's
So,
hilarious.
yeah, so we're already starting on Palo behavior. But yeah, this will be the first time we can go as a family. And I think we'll end up going twice. We'll end up going both to brunch and to dinner. And maybe one time will be just me and my hubby. And the other time's going to be family.
That's great. You guys are going to have so much fun.
Oh, gosh, I can't wait. I have not cruised in forever. It's killing me. I can't even think the last Disney cruise I took. December on the Treasure. The Treasure was my last cruise in
7 months
December.
ago.
Oh, so hard. And it's so hard because in 2024, listen, this is not bragging. I'm just stating facts. In 2024, from April to December, I cruised every month of the year.
Yeah.
Now, they were not all with Disney. I did a birthday cruise for somebody. One of my girlfriends had a birthday cruise on Celebrity. I got training on Princess. Dustin and I got invited to the opening of the Sun Princess in October. But I got to cruise from April to December last year, every single month. And now it's been since December. It's just like, oh, I need a cruise.
I know. They're addicting, man.
They're addicting. Okay, and that's something I know we're talking about the Cabana, but
Yeah.
actually maybe even about the Cabana, because I joke with people, and I know I've said this to you, when you've been to Disney World and been to Disney World and been to Disney World and been to Disney World, and I talk to my guest, right? I'm still booking people, and someone's gone 3, 4, 5 times to Disney World. And I say to them, let's graduate you to Disney Cruise Line. And they'll be like, graduate me? I said, yeah. I know that you could still see new things at Walt Disney World on your 6th visit. I know this. But let's try something different. Let me please try to talk you into a Disney Cruise Line sailing. And then usually, more than half of the people are willing to try it. And then they get back and they're like, another cruise. I need another cruise. Our next trip for sure is going to be another cruise, because you get there and it's like, it's all of the magic and so much less work, hassle, being tired, your feet hurting. It's all just magic, And for families who love characters, you get that,
Absolutely.
it's less than at the park, but there's still plenty of opportunities to see the Disney friends. And if you do a specialty cruise, right, like the Pixar Day at Sea, Marvel Day at Sea, then you really, oh, holy cow, the number of characters that you could see during those are just incredible. Incredible.
And it's just a more personable experience. I know I've talked about it last time I was on with
Hmm.
you, but it's true. Like Disney World is magical. It is the most magical place on earth, but
Yes.
you can only get a certain level of personal experience at a Walt Disney World resort vacation,
Yes.
period.
Yeah.
That's not Disney's fault. It's just it is what it is. But
Sure.
it's the next level, in my opinion. I'm with you with Disney Cruise
Yeah.
Line.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I say you're graduating up because you're going,
Yeah,
you're leaving high school and you're entering college. You know what I mean?
that's
You
right.
are leveling up when you take a Disney cruise. And for me, I talk about the service, again, I feel like this is the cast member, right? I'm holding my hand up. I know we're on a podcast, but there's the next step up, the next notch up is going to be the cast member on a Disney cruise, right? The service that you love about Disney, you're just going to amp it up a little bit more on a cruise. And I know that again, we're talking about a cabana. Hey, do you get a cabana host?
You do, yes. And I should mention there is an iPad on the wall in the cabana where number one, you can just play different types of music and there's a
Okay.
volume control, which is very nice. And then there's a button on there to request service. Somebody will come, you can request more towels, more snacks, more drinks. Also, you can just press a button if you after you've had lunch in your cabana, they'll come and take your trays away. So yeah, you get a host.
Okay, so I was going to say, you get to know your stateroom host, you get to know your dining room team. It's one of those things that I love about a Disney cruise is developing those relationships. And you really do because you get the same people on a ship years later. So that's like
Yeah.
amazing. But even here, like it was like an off the wall question, but yeah, getting a host that comes and takes care of you, it's that personal touch. I love the personal touch that you get with Disney. And this is another example of it. So I'm telling you,
It
it's
is.
a lot to
And
think about.
kind of sticking to that theme, I will speak on behalf of my friend Morgan. She was the mother of the infant that was with us in our group. And I
Huh?
talked to her before we recorded this podcast to see from a mother's point of view, what should somebody know out there? Because I was there, but I wasn't in her shoes. And the couple of the things that she mentioned is, first of all, because Disney knew there was an infant in our group, there was a
Hmm.
crib, a pack and play in our cabana with fresh sheets ready to go from when we arrived that morning. We didn't have to do anything special about it. They had it ready to go. And she really appreciated that. She also was really, and remember too, this was her first Disney cruise. So not only
Oh,
first
right.
experience in a cabana, first Disney cruise. And she was also really happy to see that in the restrooms there, even on the island, in one of the stalls, in the biggest stall, there was a changing table and a sink inside the stall for
Hmm.
mothers. And she said that was so convenient. She's like, you don't get that anywhere you go. And
Yeah.
that was just really convenient. She really loved that. And I can also attest in the men's restroom in the biggest stall, there was also the
Mhm.
same thing. So it doesn't matter if
Okay.
for a mother or a father that was available. So that was really nice and something that she really really enjoyed. And then she not from a mother's perspective but just from a guest perspective, she loved the food at Lookout Key. She said
Mm.
she called it her best meal for the entire cruise. Like she really
Wow.
really enjoyed it.
I will
You know,
say the ribs, the pulled pork,
yeah.
the first time I had them, and I've had them at Castaway, when I've had them at Castaway, I'm like, they're better. I mean, like, you think they would just be the same, right? The same ribs, same company. The islands can't be that far apart, really. You'd think they'd be the same. They're not. They're
It,
not. And delicious. I actually, I'm going to say it. I actually, when we're at Castaway Key, I eat on the ship.
do
I'm
you?
I'm not
Okay.
a big fan. cookies 1 and 2, whatever. I eat
Okay.
on the ship. I
You go
do.
to Serenity.
So to feel that way here, I
Yeah.
mean, that's like why I'm saying it, because it was different. It was different. It was really, really good. And I got the coleslaw and the different kinds of ribs. I don't get burgers or dogs, but I did get 3 or 4 things. And that blueberry lemon
Yes.
cake,
Yes.
sponge cake. I don't know exactly what it is. I know it's delicious, but the
Yeah.
blueberry lemon little
Yeah.
muffin things, amazing. Matter of fact, I took them back. I got a napkin. I took them back because I'm like, this is like a delicious dessert. It's delicious. So I took it back to my room. So yes, I can concur that the food there is so good.
Yeah, and not just there at Lookout, but even at Castaway when it comes to the little bread for dessert. I mean, I've been cruising 17 Disney cruises, and I don't think it's something that they're baking daily, but I've never not had a fresh dessert there when it comes to that
Yeah,
blueberry lemon bread. I mean, it is every time it is spot on. It's so good. I don't know what it is about it, but kudos to
yeah.
you, Dick.
I
Yep.
kudos to you, Disney. Do you have any other, because I'm trying to think if there's any other questions to ask about the cabana, but did you have anything else you wanted to share? Because I don't want to like miss out on something you wanted to share.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just really cannot stress enough how luxurious and amazing a cabana is. A couple of my other friends, Aaron, Laura, and Austin, when I was talking to them about this podcast, the one thing that they just kept repeating is it was so worth the money.
Mm,
So worth the money. And you never know. I mean, money is tight for all of us, and
mhm.
it's just something that you just never know. Am I going to be wasting this money? Is it truly worth it? Is it not? But I can tell you, all 6 of us in our party, even the infant, little James, we all very much enjoyed our day there. And yeah, I just can't stress it enough. It was paradise.
Hey, can you hear the fireworks that are going out here?
I cannot, no.
Oh, okay, good. Because my microphone is doing its job then. Because I'm like, oh my God, that's probably so distracting to talk through. Okay, good. Then it was just me. Okay. So, well, that was a good question to ask though. Like, was it worth it? I think
Yeah,
a lot of people ask that in general about Disney Cruise Line because they already have a mental idea about the parks, right? They've been there. Even if they haven't been there, they go, oh, that's 40 acres. And, I mean, or 40 square miles. And like they have all of this thought process. But on a ship, you're like, I don't know. Is that going to be worth the cost? Can't I go to Disney instead? Disney World again? Could I save
yeah.
money doing that? So to say that, yes, spending the extra money still found it very worth it.
Very much so. And leading up to the recording of this podcast, I asked on Instagram if anybody had any questions, if there's something, you want us to make sure we answer for you when recording this podcast. And Sean from New Hampshire, he reached out and that was his question. He's like, I feel as if the charge for a cabana, it can be pricey. So is it worth it or is it not? Should I take that money and invest it in something else, on my Disney vacation?
Sure.
And honestly, it's absolutely worth it if you are able to have a group of 6 and split the price.
Yeah.
It can be pricey. I mean, if it was just me and a buddy of mine and we're having to split $973, yeah, that's
Yeah.
probably not something I'm going to do. But if you have multiple people in your group and you're able to split it to get that price down per person, I highly recommend that. I've
Yeah.
seen where, there's guests that will team up with another family that's on their sailing and they'll go together to get a cabana and split it.
Sure.
And that works perfectly. But as far as if it's worth the money, absolutely. If it's just 2 of you wanting to split that price tag, you're still going to have an amazing time, but I probably just wouldn't do it. But as far as if you're worried about taking the money from something else to do this cabana, it's absolutely worth it.
Okay. And again, I do think it's a very personal question, right? Because everybody is going to judge that 900-ish dollars differently. So it is a very personal, like how you feel about it versus how I feel about it. I do want to say, for those who have not been to Lookout Key yet, the island is beautiful, right? So the family area, also beautiful. The Junkanoo and the kid activity, I'm trying to think what it's called. So there's Rush Out, Gush Out is the water feature. And then there's the place where the characters come to play with the kiddos. Not the kids club, but the place where you can, I'm
Like
drawing a
the
blank
little,
right now, but
it's like the kind of like the town square.
yeah. And then there's the cultural center. The
There you go.
cultural center is where the Junkanoo happens.
Yeah.
So all of those things are in the family section. So if you're going to do a cabana, it feels kind of strange to say, let me spend all of my time at the family beach instead of at my cabana. I think so. But if you did say, hey, I gotta at least go see the Junkanoo, how do you do it?
Yeah, so you can either request a golf cart to go back up to the main area where you would check in for your cabana, or if you're able to walk, just walk back up to the main entrance, and then that's where the tram is. You would just hop on the tram and take it over to the other side of the island.
Okay. So, and then if you wanted to see the Junkanoo, you go to that. And now that is very cool, right? It's very cool. The characters are dressed up in very specific to the region clothing. They actually hired a Bohemian designer. His name's Teddy. They hired Theodore, but I guess he goes by Teddy. And he was on that preview cruise, which is why I know that. But he is a Bohemian designer. And so he used all the things that they would use in their normal clothing and the design of the characters for the characters. They're really cool. The colors are cool. Everything is very bright. And I would say, certainly if you've been to the island before, which you had, you'd say, I've seen the Junkanoo, but I don't know. It's kind of hard. If I were advising a guest, would I advise them to go check out the Junkanoo, or would I say, you paid for that cabana, stay in it all day? I don't know. I think that's, again, very personal. I love characters, so I want to see the characters, but I might just do that. I might just say, well, it's almost 2 o'clock. I have to go see the Junkanoo and I'll be right back. I think that's how I would do it.
Yeah, so for our group, because it was all of their first time on a Disney
Hmm.
cruise, we did not make it a point to go over for the Junkanoo or to see any of the characters. However, they still wanted to see what it looked like over there. So we waited toward the end of the day after lunch, and then we went over and just walked around, and I just, kind of just really was their quick tour guide, just showing them the different areas and what each beach and looked like and where you would get food and stuff over there. And I will say one thing that Laura and my group pointed out was where we were in our cabana, the water was so calm. It was perfect, honestly, just perfect. But when we went over to look at the beaches on the other side, the one thing she just noticed, because she had never been there before, is how much windier it was. Now, granted, it had rained a little bit that afternoon for about 20 minutes, which was nice because we were in a cabana and it didn't affect us. So that's not to say, of course there was weather out there, but just the way that the wind blows, she just noticed that, it was heavier on the other side versus where you are on this beach with a cabana. So that's just something to
Okay.
note.
Okay. How about, I didn't think to ask this until now. What about alcohol? I know for me, when I am on that beach, I go all the way over to Serenity so I can get my Eleuthera Euphoria, which is basically, it tastes like Dole Whip and rum. That's what it tastes like. I know there's other stuff in it, but that's what it tastes like. It's so delicious. It's a pineapple drink, and I know there's rum in it. I'm sure there's some other stuff, but it's
Yeah.
called the Eleuthera Euphoria. So if I get a cabana,
Yep.
can I get alcohol?
Yeah, you can. You would just request service. Your host will come and take your order, and get it for you and deliver it for you. It's just that nice.
Wow. See? I mean, like the longer I sit here, I go, oh, wait, what about this? Because I do get one every trip. Every trip I go, and it's so
Yeah.
funny because you have to walk all the way over to Serenity, but now I wouldn't have to do that
Yeah.
because they
And
don't.
yeah, and another thing too that we were talking about is the beach on when you're in a cabana. You
Huh?
know, it is paradise, but it's not crowded. Not to
Your
say, I
picture,
mean,
again, I know if you're looking at
yeah.
YouTube, but your picture, oh my God, there are like what, 10 people on the beach? It's like nothing.
Honestly, there was a couple little girls in the cabana to our left, and I mean, I think they spent 5 hours just down on the beach, just playing in the sand, and they had it all to themselves. I mean, they were just loving life, and it was so great. The parents was laying in chairs, just drinking, just watching them. It was literally the perfect day for them. It was the perfect day for us too, but it was just really cute to watch that. But I just wanted to really just highlight, yeah, how open the beach is. I mean, there's hardly anybody on it because the only people on the beach are if you're staying in one of the 20 cabanas. And the beach
Yeah.
extends way past where the 20 cabanas are built. So there is plenty of room
Okay.
for you to have, your own area right in front of your cabana and not feel like people are walking around you or on you or anything like that.
And is it that you can't get to the cabanas if you're not in one? Like, do they have something that kind of makes it so people can't go check it out or no?
That's a good question. So, yeah. So, I mean, the only way to get to that beach is you would have to really walk through a cabana to get to it.
Okay.
It's not necessarily roped off, but the way that they have, the trees and the flowers, yeah, you just really
Hmm.
can't. Anybody can kind of walk up to the cabanas. I mean, you wouldn't if you're not staying there because that's all there is down that path. But
Right.
to get to the actual beach, yeah, you would actually have to walk through a cabana to get to it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that makes it so that, yeah, it really is going to be only for the people who have a cabana.
Yeah, it truly is exclusive.
Yeah. I know that and I'm looking at your picture, so it does look this way, but at the Serenity Cabanas, you walk down your steps, like the cabana has steps that get you to the first level of beach. And that at the Serenity ones, it's kind of like you have, I want to say like maybe 30 feet, and then they have a sandbar. And that sandbar is actually, and it's like tall grass, and it's blocking people from seeing into your cabana because it's not on a private beach. So can you see the water right from, or did you guys have a sandbar with tall grass?
So no, we did not really have a sandbar. However, the way these are built, they're kind of built up above the beach. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're standing out at the beach looking back, you can't really see directly in. Like there's no way I couldn't see who was sitting on the couch inside our cabana from the beach. I could
Right.
see, who's out on our deck, in one of the lounge chairs,
Hmm.
or sitting at the table on our deck. You could see that, but the deck in the cabana is built up off the beach. So yeah, you do have somewhat of that privacy. And honestly, I
Okay.
mean, there's just not many people walking by in front of your cabana.
True.
Yeah,
True, true, true. Yes. So in Serenity though, it is different, right? So it
sure.
it is
Yeah.
way down, but you're not on a private section of beach. So that privacy section is that beach area that I think even had that's where the hammock was. And then there was this like, then the sand goes up and then they have these tall grasses and I'm like, "Oh, this is so people can't see in. That's what this is for." Okay, but it's not like that clear line of the beach that the view, right? And you don't get a view of the ship from Serenity. Like
Ah,
the
yeah,
the family ones, you get the view of the ship, and it is a great view.
it is. It really is. And that is part of what makes that view so special. And you
Yeah.
can see it, you can see the ship no matter where you are in your cabana, no matter which cabana you are in on that beach. you can see the ship. It is a picture perfect view.
Yeah. Yeah. What a great day. What a great day you had. I'm so happy for you. And that you were doing that you were looking for it. And I get it. It doesn't have to be a daily thing, but I have done that with Paulo, right? I have looked and looked and looked and looked when I do a last minute booking, because every once in a while I'll be like, I need to take a cruise and I'll do a last minute booking, and then getting Paulo is hard. So this is kind of like, the Paulo version of Cabanas. I do want to change topics
Yeah.
if we're done with the Cabana, because I think we've covered a lot. I don't, unless there's something you're thinking I missed.
Yeah, no, I think we've covered much a lot of everything.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sure
Yeah. Yeah.
there's something we didn't, and that's why we're here. Anybody can reach out to us on social media. My DMs are always open. Happy to answer any questions that somebody might have.
Yeah.
But
And
definitely
and I
cannot
will
recommend.
say, so Dustin is our most traveled Disney Cruise Line rep, right? So he's of the now outside of me, but you are catching up. You're catching up to me. But with as many as you're taking per year. Anyway, so but we do have a team, so I'll just say we have a team of 20 people, and I have a good number of people who like that's their jam, right? Disney Cruise Line is their jam. Disneyland is my jam. And then we have people who are Disney World, like that's all they love, love, love. And so I love that we've made this like rounded team, but Dustin is the guy for cruise. I feel like we could not have a podcast today without broaching the conversation of the Disney dream and the little girl. So first I just want to say, let's see, it was June 29th, I think. I
Yes.
think, yeah, June 29th. June 29th, a 5-year-old little girl falls off the Disney dream. The dad jumps in after her, catches up to her. They tread water until Disney can rescue them. So I want us to talk about it just really briefly, to say I was so disappointed in the internet. Is that the right way to say it? I was so disappointed in social media. So on social media, within hours, people going, I was there. I was there and this happened. I was there and the dad risked the daughter. I was there and the baby fell off right in front of me. I'm like, all these people who came out on social media like they knew something, and turns out it was all wrong. It was all wrong. He did not put her on a railing. Now, we actually did a post about it because I wanted to talk about it, not because of the sensationalism, because of the safety. Because Disney Cruise Line takes safety so seriously, they are practicing the man overboard drills. They are doing these things so if it happens, they have the best chance of saving a guest. And in this scenario, they did say, I think it was that the Coast Guard came out and made a statement that normally this is not the outcome. Saving both the little girl and the dad is not the outcome. So I bring this up to say Disney did it right. And they had a cast member working in the area where it happened, and she finally went on record, but not to the news, not to a blogger, to the sheriff, right? So she goes on record with the sheriff. The sheriff shares the information of what happened to the little girl and that the mom yelled she can't swim and the dad jumped overboard on deck 4. And on deck 4, where Dustin normally Dustin on deck 4. So I just wanted to kind of talk just briefly and say Dustin and I were in conversation that day and going, wow, we are not ever, ever going to be those people who A, tell a story that we don't know, B, that it's not about blame for anybody. Kids are kids. Are you going to blame a 5-year-old kid? Can't do that. A kid who wants to play, it's a kid who wants to play, not be in an app, not be on a screen. I think that's amazing, but still a kid. So that Disney did that rescue, he and I talked multiple times over those couple days, and we're just so, I don't know, I want to say proud almost, right?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I'm also really glad when you and I had some conversations as information was coming out and things were unfolding, and we agreed to kind of just stay off social media about it, just
Hmm.
because we weren't there, we don't know the facts, and all we really knew, because Disney did announce it, was that two people had fallen overboard and they were rescued and they are safe. So from our standpoint at that point in time, and really today, I mean,
Hmm.
we just stand with Disney. Like, well done to that cast, unbelievable work. I mean, these are not the outcomes you usually get when anybody goes off overboard, let alone a little kid and her
Yeah.
father. So yeah, I'm
I
with
mean,
you,
I
and
want to
I'm very
say, do you say hero? Of course. But Disney is also a hero here. I mean, the little girl probably, I guess the mom said she can't swim. So if the dad didn't go in, I'm sure it would have been tragic. But jumping in from the fourth deck is also dangerous. And he risks his life to save his daughter, and hero, but Disney is also her hero. I I am not going to. I'm not one of the people who will engage with people. If someone says, Disney doesn't care about their people because blah blah blah. No, no. I don't engage in it. I just stop. And for me, Dustin and I, when we talked right away, we said there will be no placing blame on anybody because things happen. It's the response that's important. And we
yes,
both agreed with that. It is not about who did what. It's about what happened after.
yep,
And what happened after is the drills that they run on a regular, they followed, and they got the rescue boat down, and they rescued the little girl first,
yep.
and then they brought the dad into the boat, and then they got them back and, took care of them. I'm sure, they went down to the doctors and blah, blah, blah. I'm sure stuff happened after that,
Sure.
but
And the one thing that I know for sure, and I know you know it as well, Trisha, is no matter who was truly at fault here, whoever
yeah,
it may be, no matter what the outcome was, thank the Lord it was what it was. But
yes.
regardless of all of that, we know Disney's going to take this scenario and this situation, and they're going to replay it 1,000 different ways. And even though it
Hmm.
was a perfect outcome with two people going in the water and coming out alive, they're
Yeah,
going to take it and they're still going to learn from this. And they're
yeah,
still going to do training. They're probably even going to enhance their training because of this. So we just
probably.
know Disney did the right thing, and we know they're going to continue to do the right thing.
And I mean, I have heard two different things. And again, this is where it doesn't matter ultimately because the end result is everybody was safe. But I heard it took 10 minutes. I heard it took 20 minutes. And like, I don't know. I do not know the official result. I did kind of stop trying to find out the details. Like at the beginning, it's so jarring. And you can't, like for me, my 5-year-old was on a ship, right? So when my daughters were 5, they were sailing, and I go, oh my gosh, that is my initial reaction. But now I go, this is, it could have been tragic. Thank God it was not. And, what happens next? And I agree with you. It's going to be drills that now are going to be different, right? And will they change any of the structure of the ship? I don't know. I don't know. But I do know they saved the day. I said they're heroes without capes because the team had to move quickly. Everybody had to do exactly the right thing. And apparently they did. And maybe I think most likely it's going to be, if it was 20 minutes, how do we shave time off? Because people in an ocean treading water for 20 minutes, it's something that they're going to say, we have to take this seriously. We have to shave time off that. I do believe that that's the case, right? I do believe that they're going to probably exactly what you said, run new drills, change things up, try, how can we this, how can we that? But
If anything needs changed, Disney's going to change it. Period.
yes, right.
Period.
Yeah. So I did put in my post, and I'll just highlight that to say on Instagram, I did a post about it where I said, blame is not a thing here. It has nothing to do with it. We're just very proud of Disney and what they did. But they do have 6 keys to their success. Disney has 6 keys. And key number 1 is safety. And safety is before entertainment. Safety is before good food. Safety is before everything. But entertainment is actually probably number 2. Not entertainment, but the next key, which really leads to entertainment, and customer service and all that. But number 1 with Disney is safety. When I was a cast member, boy, the drilling in of safety is number 1. Safety is number 1. And it's one of their keys. And this just shows, right? They had a plan and they acted on the plan. They saved the little girl. They saved the dad. Everybody's a hero in this scenario. And I'm so proud that we support them so strongly.
Yeah.
You and I were just like such strong advocates for them. And that this is the way it turned out. It's just, it makes me feel good. It makes me feel good that I support a company that goes that extra mile, that works really hard to keep up a standard that gets harder and harder and harder. It gets harder and harder and harder to maintain a standard, but they do it.
They do. Kudos, Disney Dream.
Yep. Yes, kudos Disney Dream. And I was on the Dream in November. And
I was on in December.
Yeah, I gotta say, I love it. So I know the Dream and Fantasy, they're so close to each other as sister ships. The color palette of the blues and the reds and the primaries, I was like, it's been a while since I've been on here. I was digging it. I mean, as much as I do love the peacock of the the treasure, I was like digging the vibe, going, you know what? It's been a while, Disney Dream. I really like you. So anyway, so I am Trisha with Visit Mickey. This is Dustin. Dustin on deck 4. Dustin on deck 4.
DCL.
Yeah. Yes, DCL. There we go. Dustin on deck 4 DCL on Instagram. You also have a Facebook page, though.
I do. Yeah, it's Dustin Disney Travel Professional.
Okay.
Yep.
Is that how you find you?
Find me, it would be facebook.com/Dustin on deck for DCL. Same handle.
Okay, Dustin on deck 4. Okay, great. So you can find Visit Mickey on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn, so those are the 3 places you can find us. This is going to be on our YouTube page as well. We will list the full one. We will have shorts on everything. And we want to thank you. We actually can, Dustin, you don't even know this yet, but I got something from Apple about our placement on the podcast. And for visiting places, we came up 8. 8.
Okay.
I was like, oh, I'm so excited. So all aboard with Visit Mickey is going places. And so make sure you come along with us. We'd love to help everybody experience a magical location. And of course, that's Disney in our minds. But we do help with all types of cruises and Universal. And of course, all the things you can do with Disney, including Aulani in Ko'olina, Hawaii. So, and both Dustin and I have been there and we love, love, love it. So thank you for following. And, we'll just keep bringing it to you at least monthly. We're going to be bringing a podcast. I am going to go back and do one from my Adventures by Disney. but I just got back from 3 weeks in Europe. So it's like that I had to do this and then I'm going to go back and do Europe. So, all right, Dustin, thank you so much. And I'm just going to sign us off and then we'll go from there.
Thank you so much. Bye, guys.
All right, thanks.